For those who come to visit the greater Yellowstone area, part of the allure is the complete wildness of it. It's human nature to think we're the top of the food chain, we're it. Here we're not.
In the woods of the West, people are sharing space with a deadly animal.
The grizzly bear is something that is always on our mind because we know that they're here.
But they weren't always here in noticeable numbers.
A century ago, we were the worst threat to grizzly bears and reducing their population almost to extinction. We are in a very good spot now, I think, compared to 100 years ago.
100 years ago, we fed grizzlies garbage in Yellowstone National Park. It was the most popular tourist attraction for decades. When that went away 50 years ago, so did the bears. Grizzlies landed on the endangered species list in 1975. Listing gives protected animals the space they need to develop instead of disappear. And it worked. Grizzlies recovered. They learned to live among us.
It's getting relatively unsafe.
Now we have to learn to live with them. That's where hope and hesitation collide.
He's too close to get you near him.
People are their biggest threat and their biggest opportunity.
The bears are fine in the park itself. However, ecologically speaking, that is not enough. So when you look at a map, you see Yellowstone National Park, it's a square. You don't need to be a scientist to sort of look at a square and go like, what, that doesn't seem natural. So these bears live in Yellowstone Park, but they also go outside of Yellowstone National Park, which is why this is called the Greater Yellowstone Ecosystem.
It's incredibly unique. It's one of the last intact temperate zone ecosystems on the planet, and it has all the native wildlife that have been here from before white settlement, from grizzly bears to Yellowstone cutthroat trout.
Here, it's still pretty pristine and still has a lot of wild character to it. It's a treasure, and we have to remember that.
That treasure is enjoyed by more than 4 million people annually. Conflict is inevitable.
There will certainly be conflicts, but whose fault's that?
Rich Paney survived a grizzly bear attack in 2011 while hunting elk with a bow in Island Park, Idaho.
Hit some old game trails back there. I walked through and I heard just an enormous crash. Bear, 1, 2, tackle. Bear had me by this arm, which it ultimately broke, and I had my wooden recurve in this hand, and it bit into my bow. There's some metal plates in here. There's a lot of metal in there. The truth of the matter is, I'm sure I could go out there 1,000,000 times and never see a bear again. But no, I don't go back there.
When bears get in trouble, some of them end up here at the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center in West Yellowstone, Montana.
All our bears are here because people made some mistakes. I coordinate with manufacturers who want to get their products certified as being bear resistant. A lot of people don't understand that a cooler, in order for it to be bear resistant, has to have either padlocks on it or a bolt and a nut in the holes that are provided on the cooler. They see the rubber latches and think that's going to keep a bear out. A bear would rip those rubber latches off in seconds. We want to make sure that the product passes the test to help those bears out in the wild so that they don't get in trouble. Once a bear gets that easy food reward, they're going to come back time and time again. And there is that saying that a fed bear is a dead bear, and it really is true.
Bins that pass a severe mauling by bear paws go into the field in places like Jackson, Wyoming, an iconic western outpost neighboring Grand Teton National Park.
We are surrounded by millions of acres of public land where bears can find food. They don't need to come into town to do so. Garbage is one of the biggest attractants for grizzlies coming into residential or urban areas. Hopefully by making the cans more accessible to residents and community members, we can get a lot more places secured in the county, and that will be one less attractant that we have. Just knowing that there is this opportunity for bears to have conflicts with people and that we haven't done anything as a community to prevent that, it's shocking, I think, and disappointing. Some of this stuff probably should have been done a couple decades ago, but now we have an opportunity to take care of the problem.
Away from town, the conflict with grizzlies is different. Garbage isn't out here. cows are.